Hey, JJ, when you look at a team like Minnesota, that's just a lot different from the team that you played in December. Obviously, you're playing different too, but no Gobert, no Randall, maybe more of an open floor or space for Ant to attack. How does that impact like the way that you want to play defensively for like a one-game plan relative to what you always want to do as a defense?
Small adjustments, but certainly you have to think about your Anthony Edwards coverage, but they have a number of guys that are playing really well right now. McDaniels, Alexander Walker, Naz Reid, all three of those guys playing at a really high level offensively. Obviously, McDaniels and Alexander Walker as well on the defensive end. We have to be smart with how we want to guard him, knowing that they have a ton of shooting on the floor, and they also have a bunch of young guys right now, like Shannon and Clark, and they just play really hard. And Clark in particular is another disruptive defender. So lots to worry about tonight. Very, very rare you don't go into a game worrying about a lot of stuff, and tonight's no different.
How much have you enjoyed kind of the defensive connectivity and the energy and the effort and where, like, how do you feel like you want to almost put that in a box and keep it and like so that it's sustainable?
Yeah, the hope is that defense that we played now for 19 games, and we saw flashes of it at different points early in the season. I told the guys early on a number of times, you've told on yourselves. I've seen you do it. So the expectation is that you're going to do it every night. I like our consistency right now. Even just rewatching the Mavs stuff, it was a weird game. They junked it up a lot. We didn't have like a great flow to it, but then you rewatch it and you realize the effort level of our guys was really high. Our connectedness on the defensive end was really high, and like I told you guys the other night, those last 5.5 minutes with our group just flying around, covering for each other, making extra efforts was awesome.
Kind of piggybacking off of that, it was about a little over a month ago after the first Clippers game at Intuit, where you mentioned that you guys didn't necessarily have someone who could always draw two to the ball.
Yeah.
Now you very much have that guy. And Luka, is there, because you mentioned the spacing always being there, the last game, is there an adjustment period just in terms of the other four players on the court, the other guys knowing just how to maintain that spacing, knowing how to play off of a guy who will draw those blitzes or those doubles, and just maintaining the principles in a different way that they may not have been used to the first 50 or 55 games before Luka was integrated?
Yeah, I felt like we had a really good rhythm against switching teams offensively prior to Luka taking the floor, and then we played a lot of games. I can think of 4 off the top of my head. Denver played coverage. I think the other 4 games they switched everything. So we got to get back to our discipline with our versus switches. I don't think the adjustment when we're in normal offense and just playing out of angle pick and rolls and 77s and all that stuff. I think that's pretty straightforward. I think it's more just figuring out how to play against switching defenses that will be in a little bit of an adjustment.
Is there any way to quantify the effect of having an additional playmaker in Luka, the way that will perhaps keep a guy like LeBron or even Austin fresher as the game goes on? Because the 3 of those guys don't necessarily have to shoulder that responsibility for all 48 minutes.
Yeah, I think the biggest effect of that is with Austin, because of how much ball handling he had to do. And it wasn't even just the shot creation part for himself and others. It was literally just getting the ball across half court. He was in the lineup a lot of times without a ball handler. And now, I think in 5 games, like I think there's been one scenario where we're in an ATO and I'm like, all right, let's do this. And well, we only have one ball handler out there. Like we typically, because of now, with Gabe, Austin, Luka, sometimes Goody even, we have 4 guys that can do it, and that's what we've tried to do all year with LeBron, is not tax him with just bringing the ball up. We want him obviously to have the basketball, but in his spots and in the half court.
Hey, JJ, a little off topic here, but what kind of support and leadership has Jeannie shown you so far during her first year here?
Incredible support, to be honest with you. There have been a few scenarios where I've gone to her for things, sometimes for counsel and sometimes for action, and she has responded well every time. And I think, too, just going through what we just went through with the Luka trade, like that requires a lot. Again, because AD in particular was just such a vital piece of this franchise and helped us win help them. They were them back then, but they helped the Lakers win a championship back in 2020. So she's been awesome, and the biggest thing is Rob, myself, Jeannie, in the interview process and in the very early days this past summer, it was all about creating alignment and cohesiveness between those three people, and we've done that.
Sorry if this was asked Tuesday night, but is there a sense of relief, not just for Luka, but for you and these guys, that game has now passed, the emotional aspect of it, and you guys can move forward and just continue to build with Luka and these guys?
Yes, very much so. I don't know how else to answer that question, but yes, I'm glad the game's over and we can sort of move on from that.
What's pleased you most about how Reeves has picked his spots while playing off of LeBron and Luka?
Yeah, I think Austin's one of the more intelligent players in the NBA, and certainly one of the more intelligent guys on our team. And he's been asked to do a number of different things throughout his career. Even though it's a short career, he's played a number of roles, and he's had a number of scenarios where he's been coming off the bench. He's been an off-ball player. He's been an on-ball player. He's been the primary ball handler. He's been the secondary ball handler. And he's just, no matter what situation you put him in, he just kind of figures it out. We're obviously trying to provide the three of those guys in particular as much guidance as possible so that this can all work at a very high level. But I know you guys have heard me sing his praises all year. I've been so impressed with Austin. Came into this thinking he was really good, and he's fantastic.
Coach, over the past 3 games, Luka and LeBron have been the top 2 rebounders on the team. How much have you stressed to them to be aggressive on the glass, and do you expect that to be the path forward for success as them as your top 2 rebounders?
I mean, I stress to the group the need for gang rebounding, but I don't need to stress. I mean, those are 2 of the best wing rebounders in NBA history, so not much I need to do there. But I think just for the group, recognizing that our collective effort on the defensive glass can overcome a lot of our height. But I don't look at any of our lineups really as like small ball or short ball. We got big players and strong players, so I'm not surprised that our defensive rebounding percentage is up.
Hey, JJ, for so long, LeBron and AD were considered the superstar duo of the team. And just recently, after you guys got Luka, the Lakers are being presented as a big 3. LeBron, Luka, and Austin. When did Austin get elevated into that superstar level with those guys?
You'll have to ask Twitter on that one. I mean, Austin's amazing, but Luka's 5-time first-team All-NBA. LeBron's one of the GOATs, if not the GOAT. I mean, there's definitely tiers to this, and everybody for the last, since the Celtics, with Ray Allen and Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett, is very quick to label a big 3. If Austin is a big 3, great. We have yet to talk about that. So,
hey, Coach, just what can you say about the job that Dorian Finney-Smith and Vando has done, just to kind of help just bring that energy? That there are guys that don't get plays called for them on offense, but just defensively they're everywhere. Just can you talk about like their impact so far?
I've called a couple plays for Vando. Okay. He hasn't scored on them. So, no, look. Both those guys, they're professional defenders, and they're professional disruptors, and they're professional effort guys. They go out there with the intent of winning a basketball game and nothing else, and they do what's required to win a basketball game. And those are the guys you love having on your team.
Coach, you mentioned that the guys have kind of told on themselves in terms of their defensive effort. How have you seen Rui take a step forward on the defensive end in the last few games?
I don't think it's just the last few games. I mean, we've watched 50 whatever it is now, 56 games of him. He's made improvements throughout the season. There's been a number of times we're on a flight or we're in the coach's conference room and we're watching film and we're like, look at Rui. Look what he's doing. Look at this. And he's really been solid. And the one thing we've tried to do with him is just simplify the coverage board with him. He's a red. Like, he's in every switching group. So it keeps it easy. Then off ball, he really is. He's really gotten good with understanding our shifts, our low man, all the stuff we're trying to do.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Veejay Vernon Huskey, the Big Vanilla Funny, the Big Vanilla Sports Talk Poppy, coming to you from Crypto.com Arena in downtown Los Angeles as the home Los Angeles Lakers get themselves a big Western Conference home win against the visiting Minnesota Timberwolves. Some real interesting things we're going to touch on in this game, because this game is starting to look like what the Lakers have been lately. They've been able to build big leads, and tonight they were up 14 at the end of the first quarter and built the lead as big as 23. And at one point had the lead dwindle down to 2 points, and Minnesota just couldn't cash in. Some key things about tonight's game: LeBron James being LeBron James, 30-plus points again with 17 boards tonight. Luka Doncic with another off game at one point in the 2-minute mark. He was 1 of 9 from three-point range, and we're starting to kind of see that flow. But, of course, a guy like Austin Reeves steps up for the Lakers tonight. Some key stats to just show you how even this game was. You talk about shooting percentage, 41-41. The three-point percentage was 29-29. The rebounds were only a 2 difference. They got killed, the Lakers, that was on fast break points by 15 of 28-13. So the Wolves were able to get out on the run and make some things happen on the fast break and finish. But when you give up big leads like that to start the game, and it was just too much of an insurmountable lead to come back from. Other keynotes in tonight's games too: Anthony Edwards was ejected after picking up 2 quick techs right over here on my right shoulder here, and it looked like he wanted to punt the ball into the stands, but he did throw it in disgust. Not sure, try to get some things from players and coaches and just other media members backstage of what happened, and it just seems like it was a delay of game call, which is just really strange and weird, because a delay of game technical is a team technical. It's not a personal technical. So if that was the second technical and he was thrown out for that, the league might want to look into that and rescind it. If I'm the Minnesota Timberwolves, I might want to actually call the league and ask him that, because I just got word, Anthony Edwards, that is his 16th technical. That would mean 1 game suspension. And sitting where they are right now at 32-28, a far cry from where a lot of people thought that the Minnesota Timberwolves would be this year. It's just not going to be a positive thing for him to have to miss a game if he has to miss a game. So I'm pretty sure the Timberwolves will look into that. Other box score things right now, I want to talk about Austin Reeves for a second, because I really do think he might be, and this is not hyperbole, and this is not over the edge, this is just real. He might be the best third option in basketball in the National Basketball Association right now for what he brings to the team. Tonight, 5 of 10, 38 minutes, but it's just not his numbers. His body language and his chemistry with this team has really it's always baffled me when his name is brought up in trades. And I get the league, I get the business of it. But to me, he's just a guy. Shaq calls them the others. I call them the must-haves. Others is kind of disrespectful. These type of guys you need, and the Los Angeles Lakers are going to need Austin Reeves to continue to play like this if they are going to move up. They moved to 36-21 tonight. They have another back-to-back they'll be in tomorrow night against the Clippers. They'll break on Saturday, and then they're right back against the Clippers again. So they have a back-to-back home games 2 out of 3 days for the Los Angeles Lakers and the Clippers. But great win for them tonight against a wounded team. Rudy Gobert, another quick news and notes, out tonight also as he continues to try to mend his injuries back for the Minnesota Timberwolves. A lot of questions for the Timberwolves, ladies and gentlemen. They were not supposed to be in this situation of where they come the last 2 years, especially last year getting to the Western Conference Finals. But for the home Los Angeles Lakers, it's all smiles, it's all confetti. The boss was in the building tonight, Netflix is in the building tonight, superstars, chains that look better than mine. This was a great atmosphere tonight, and another big win for the Los Angeles Lakers as they take it 111-102 and moving up in the standings. If the Lakers could get to the 3rd or 2nd seed, this team is going to be something to reckon with. Another quick news and note, too. I want to give a lot of credit to J.J. Redick and the coaching job that he has done. I, for one, did not think that this team would be at this position where they are right now, but he is able to handle the minutes. He is able to handle the egos. He is able to handle the superstars. And me and some other media members were just talking in the press room a minute ago. Sometimes it's the city that'll take you down coaching player-wise more than the actual sport that you're coaching and playing. J.J. Redick, sir, you're doing a really good job. We'll see if it's sustainable, but I give props where props is due. Coming to you guys from downtown Los Angeles, California. This is beautiful. Crypto.com. I just took an NBA three-pointer and banged that joint, too. I'm going to post it on my social media. You guys check it out. Also, make sure you go to Infanity TV on YouTube. Subscribe, guys. Go to Vesson Sports. Subscribe. We appreciate everything. I'm Veejay Vernon Huskey, the Big Vanilla Funny, the Big Vanilla Sports Talk Poppy, Fox Sports Radio, Vesson Sports, and Infanity TV.
JJ, first of all, do you have anything on Rui and how he's doing after leaving the game?
Yeah, it's left knee strain. Obviously, we'll get more information over the next 24 hours.
What's and again, you don't have much information, but just level of concern if he does have to miss time and kind of how you guys manage considering how well he was playing?
I'm concerned when any guy gets hurt, in particular, one of our best players and a guy who's been so important to everything we've done on both ends of the floor this year. So, I mean, I'm not going to speculate on the severity of the injury. I'm hopeful that it's nothing serious.
For tonight's game, it seemed like you're still getting a lot of good shots, still not going down, missing a lot of free throws. Do you feel like you rode the defense, or how did you end up carrying it out?
I think early it was defense. We still had some good stretches in the last three quarters. Offensively, I liked a lot of what we did. Our spacing was much better than last game. Thought we handled a lot of their pressure well for the most part. I think we ended up with 13 turnovers, had a shot clock violation. Braun missed the lefty lay. The last two games we played these guys, we had 22 and 23 turnovers, so that was important for us. The 16 offensive rebounds were big. I think Luka and Braun, for both those guys to get 12 defensive rebounds and 11 defensive rebounds was huge. One of you guys asked me pregame just about their rebounding and how important it is for our team as we, play a lot of lineups that don't have a traditional center.
Luka came into tonight, I think, shooting 25% from three since he joined you guys. Goes 1 for 9 tonight. Is part of the kind of onboarding process, like you're going to let him kind of shoot his way out of this to try to get comfortable?
I mean, we trust Luka as a shooter and as a decision maker, and the type of shots he's been able to create throughout his career. And I think we've all had stretches like that. He'll find his rhythm. We're confident he will.
JJ, I think I asked you the other day about kind of the toll of the style you guys are playing defensively in terms of energy, and this is another game where. Second half of that third quarter, you guys worn down a little bit, it looks like. Are you seeing any of that? Just, you guys are playing so hard.
Yeah.
Are you seeing any kind of any cost for that?
No, certainly the transition defense hurt us tonight. I thought in the half court we were excellent. Only a few game plan mistakes. You could certainly speculate maybe the shooting woes are because guys are playing so hard defensively. Maybe I don't know. I know we've had some good games where we played as hard as we played tonight, shooting the basketball. So something we'll monitor for sure.
JJ, to piggyback, as a shooter yourself, obviously, some of these looks that these guys are getting wide open as Dodo like to say, the buck naked shots. Is it harder sometimes in the flow of a game to make those than if it's contested or there's a guy close?
No, I don't necessarily think that. I think it's just more about just the rhythm. Again, this is now 5 of 6 games where we haven't played against coverage outside of a few minutes with Luka Garza and Dwight Powell. So, playing against switching defenses for anybody can throw you off rhythm.
Hi, Coach. Do you know how did that Reed's injury happen? Is that happen when he landed or?
Didn't see it. Yeah, I just saw him dunk, and then I turned my head.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Coach. LeBron's ready to walk.